we doing? Welcome back to another episode of Where the Game Lives On, the official podcast of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and also Price Cutter Charity Championship. I'm your host, Noah Tucker. Over here to my left is
Byron Shive, CEO, Executive Director of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Also the co-host, by the way, if you haven't realized that yet. But yes, he is my boss. We also have a special guest in studio today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Nate Angus here from Springfield, Missouri.
That's right. Willard grad,
Yeah.
1999. So we just got done with the Price Cutter Charity Championship. It was a wild weekend. A lot of stuff that went down, and we were busy. How do you think it went?
I think it went great. Obviously, this is my first tournament to oversee without the training wheel, so to speak. And so shout out to all the volunteers, everybody that helped out this week. It was a great weekend, and we had a great Sunday finish.
Yeah, no, and it was interesting for me to see kind of the different moving parts that go on to make a tournament go. You feel like you understand enough of it, but you don't really fully understand it until you've been in it.
I'm not even sure I still fully understand it.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your mind around for sure. But getting back to our guest, right? That's why we've got Nate Angus in today. If you're not local here or you're not following the Korn Ferry Tour, closely, you may not know Nate was a unrestricted exemption for the Price Cutter Charity Championship, and definitely had quite a bit of backing. Yeah, I think that's where I want to jump off. Is obviously there's so many things to talk about, but how did it feel to have so many people out there supporting you?
It was good. Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of family and friends that came, and actually some people I didn't even know were coming. I mean, I saw some old high school friends. I've seen some guys I haven't seen in years, come out. So it was good to have the crowds. I mean, me personally, I didn't really look around the crowd much. I knew they were there. Obviously, you can kind of see out the corner of your eyes and stuff. I try to try to focus on what I was there to do, instead of just kind of looking around.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, I was sitting on there, watched you tee off on one on Thursday, and this mass of people, starts following you down the fairway. How difficult is it you said that you knew they were there, but, you're obviously playing golf in the zone, and you've done that for years,
Right.
But now you got a bunch of people watching. So
yeah, it's definitely different. When I normally play, you have a couple, right?
Yeah.
Or someone that just doesn't know who you are and they're just waiting for the next group,
Yeah.
But definitely knew they were there. Yeah, absolutely. You can visually see that out of the corner of your eyes. And I was more focused on, what I was there to do.
Yeah.
Is hit fairways, hit greens, and make some noise. So
I had talked to you prior to the tournament, and you said that you and your caddy had gone through game plans, and you knew you wanted to do. Looking back on the Thursday and Friday round, how do you feel like you executed that? How do you feel like you could have maybe adjusted it?
Front nine, great, right? The score reflected that. Back nine, I think a little bit was going into the back nine after being 2 under. I was hitting the ball good. I felt good about certain clubs, and I probably didn't stick to the game plan as much on the back nine, and that reflects that. Just because I felt confident of hitting a certain club instead of the other club that I had practiced, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to squeak it a little further up there, or I'm going to try to carry this bunker, or whatever it may be. And it led to troubles. It led to put me in the wrong spot and having to kind of scramble around. So, kind of stuck to the game plan a little bit, but not much, Looking back on that, you can always look back at what you should have done or what could have been better. Everybody, even if you shoot 66, I could have shot 64, sure. Right?
Yeah.
You always can find something, and that's the beauty of golf is that we can always get better, and you can always find stuff to work on. So, I'd say the game plan was still overall there. It was mainly, practice a lot on the short game, the putting, and putting saved me. 100%.
For sure, yeah. I saw you save a par on 9.
Yeah.
With a good up and down and a putt.
Yeah. Well,
I saw that one too.
The up wasn't very good, but the down was good. Right? Yeah. That's one thing, I didn't, when people go out to practice, the short game, the chipping and stuff like that, they don't take the ball and throw it in the ground.
Yeah.
They just kind of fluff it up and they chip for a couple minutes or 30 minutes and all right, I'm good. Yeah. Those balls did not stay on the top of the grass. They especially on the greens, they went straight to the bottom, and I didn't practice that. I didn't. So I did not execute very well scrambling percentage this week. It was actually really horrible. So.
Yeah. So being an unrestricted exemption, you were playing with two guys that Monday qualified. So you were the last guy out Thursday, and then you had to come right back and go early Friday. Right. Obviously, the weather didn't impact your first round, but it did rain. It was kind of wet on that Friday round early for you. How did you feel? It
was not kind of wet.
Yeah, no, it rained. Yeah, you're right. It rained for a while. How did you feel the playing surface was? Did it impact how you were approaching shots?
Going back, we teed off at 9:07, I believe. I looked at radar all the way from 6 o'clock in the morning when I woke up. I didn't expect it till 11, roughly. And that's what our playing partners talked about. It was like, I think we'll get the back nine in. And that's could get us close to the clubhouse. So if there is a delay, we're there. But didn't really change anything. I think my mindset changed a little bit. That says, I need to probably shoot low to make a cut. I get that. Weather conditions weren't really giving me that option, in pouring down rain. But, I finished 8 holes, I think, in the rain, and it was even par. I focused on hitting fairways, hitting greens, and I just relied on my putting, to just keep it manageable, keep it there. Then I didn't know when we'd get the break. I really thought it would be a little bit earlier than what it was.
We did too.
Yeah. I think the rumble of thunder on 13 was probably the indicator that says, let's go. And
I was on 16, and I saw you come through. So that you played at least 3 or 4 holes after the thunder started.
We got 10 in, I think. Yeah. And then 11, it started kind of getting those big drops. And really didn't put the rain gear on until probably 12, roughly. Yeah. No, it's another thing. When do you guys go out and play in the rain? You never go out and say it's raining, I'm going to go practice.
Yeah.
So that's what they got the rain check for.
Yeah, right, the rain checks, yeah. So you don't really put yourself in that situation. You don't normally, right? Everything was soaked. I had 2 towels. Didn't take them long. Went through 3 gloves and 8 holes. It was wet. And during the break, my caddy was down there with the air hose trying to blow everything dry, So.
Well, then the weather clears up in the afternoon tee times. They come out and throw darts all afternoon.
Absolutely.
It's just it's just the luck of the draw. I talked to another guy, Joseph Winslow, who was one of our restricted exemptions, and he was just commenting on. He goes, "It's just the way it is." But you got to play in those conditions, and the other guys get the perfect conditions.
And they got preferred lies all day. So having preferred lies, you got to obviously do it for everybody, no matter the tee time. So with that, then like you said, the weather sunning up and the course drying out a little bit, and preferred lies, and the greens are soft as they were. Yeah, it was dart throwing for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I can imagine if it were me, I would lay in bed and think about every single shot. Is there a single shot or a sequence that you look back on over the 2 rounds?
Yeah, absolutely. The back 9 on the first day. It's still think about it, every day. Obviously, like I said, what could you have done different? We can always do that, but I think just having the momentum after the front 9 and feeling as confident. I kind of hit the wrong club on 10, got me in a bad spot. It just compounded the issue. But I came right back the next hole with birdie, so I got it back. A little unfortunate break on 12. I did hit a little left of where I wanted to, and it hit the cart path and went out of bounds. Yeah, I didn't even know that until I got halfway there, and they yelled and said I'd go back. So a little unfortunate.
I've seen a few guys do that actually too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where they were just trying to avoid water, stay left, and then.
Oh yeah, you can hit it. You can hit it over there left. You can't hit it right in the water. So just some bad swings, some loose swings on the back 9. Other than that, kind of hung in there, right? Just still make it manageable.
So here's the craziest thing of the whole weekend, I think, is when you got done on Thursday. Of course, there's still a lot of folks that were walking with you, and here comes John Cyrus walking up 18. I was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I just walked 18 holes." How did you get John Cyrus of all people to walk 18 holes?
Oh man, I don't know.
But what does that say about you? You got all these guys that you've played with and against over the years that come out and support you like that.
Yeah, I love it. The golf community around here is very kind of tight, right? We all know each other. We all play with or against each other. And like I said, I had some guys that I haven't seen in a long time that I played with years ago that came out. So, my whole goal was to bring the community out, to make them have a good time, enjoy the prize cutter, enjoy Highland Springs. I mean, a lot of people do it because it's like it's golf, it's boring, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no one, I don't even watch it on TV, but to be there in person and the way you guys set the tournament up and the way it's a big thing for Springfield. It is. It's just a big thing. And, to do it on a different city at a different course, it probably wouldn't affect me as much as it is here because it's my hometown, And so to get those guys out like Cyrus, I mean, yeah, it was incredible to see him. And not just him, there's a lot of guys that, probably couldn't walk 18 holes like they did, and they did it.
Yeah.
Especially in the heat.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, to do that in the heat was incredible.
So what's next? I've heard that you're going to perhaps look north. Is that?
Yeah. I think I'm going to finish out this year working, obviously. To do that, then Megan and I, my wife, had talked about, you only live once.
Sure.
And if I could have done this 20 years ago, I would have done it. But circumstances didn't lead me to that. So I'm at a spot now in my life where it's kind of like, yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. I mean, you got one chance, So we're going to, continue working. I was out practicing last night. I did take 2 days off, which is just very weird for me, but I did touch a club for 2 days. But I was right back at it yesterday. And I'll be back at it again today. I'll work, and then I'll go straight to the putting green tonight.
So what is the you're going to Canadian Tour? Is that
right?
correct?
Yeah. So qualifying starts next year. I think they start in February, maybe in Florida. I don't know if I have a pick of where I want to go to qualify, but if I do, I'm probably going to go to Arizona, just because I know the course in the area. If not, there's other places we'll go, but that should start somewhere in March, April of next year. So I've got some good 7 months here to 8 months to work at it.
So what is the qualifying process for that tour?
It's 4 rounds. 4 rounds, no cut, top 30. Obviously, the guy that wins it gets the exemption for the year. Then I think it's 2nd through 10th is status, guaranteed starts, and then down to conditional status. And then it's kind of set up the same way, just not as a long process as Korn Ferry, where there's pre-qualifying, then first stage, second stage. It's just pretty much play 4 rounds and shoot your best.
Yeah.
And so then the Canadian Tour I think it's going on simultaneously right now with the Korn Ferry Tour, correct?
I think they got 4 or 5 events in so far.
Okay.
It runs from like July until I'm going to tell you wrong, July to like October.
Throughout
November.
the summer. Yeah.
So, it's not a big, long season. And that's another thing that kind of helps me is that, I can't be gone all year. So.
And then there's so many from the Canadian Tour actually get promoted to the Korn Ferry Tour. Right. Is that right?
That's top 5 will get promoted to the Korn Ferry full exemption.
So what you're saying is here in a couple of years you're going to be rolling right back into the
My
Prize Cutter Charity Championship.
My goal is to be back in Springfield
at
some point. However I get there.
Yeah.
If it's Monday and in, if it's qualifying through that, or if it's another exemption, whatever it may be. But yeah, I definitely want another shot at it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So talking about that and that opportunity, I probably already feel like I know the answer to this question, but going through this process this last week, and you play a lot of golf, you're confident in your game. He and I know you can play golf, but was there some level of, realization at some point during the week where you said, if I play my game, I can play with these guys?
Yeah, no doubt. I got into the week, and you get out there Monday in the Pro-Am, and here they are in town, and you don't know. I know some of them, but not a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys do this every week. They practice, play, walk, and that's another thing. Conditioning is a big part in playing too. I got a little winded on Friday. Yeah, my legs are burning. So that plays into a little bit of your swing too. But I honestly, I remember texting Megan Monday, and I said, I feel like I belong here. I don't feel any nerves, none.
Awesome.
Zero nerves. So. And I thought, well, now that'll change. This is just a Pro-Am. You're, in a way, entertaining your guest, and it'll change on Thursday. Did not. I got to that range. I felt comfortable. I felt fine. And, those guys are good.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. They're good. They're good, but, they're good at what they do because they practice it and they do it every day. And I get 2 hours a day,
sure.
right? They get 8 hours a day or more. So and they have coaches, they have you name it, they got it. And
they have every advantage, absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm not taking anything away from them. I mean, those guys are good for a reason. But
how were they to interact with? I mean,
good,
you're the local exemption. I don't know if was there any.
No talk of that, but some of them did say, you should have brought a crowd, and those guys probably aren't used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think both of them are 25 years old. I mean, just out of college, and they travel everywhere, and they don't get to have their family or friends there. So it was probably, some like it, some feed off of that, and then some just like, I'm not used to this. It makes me nervous. But those guys handled it well. Interacted with everyone just fine, on the tee boxes or walking or something like that. So they were great to play with.
Did you get a chance to come out on Saturday or Sunday, or were you staying away?
Yeah, no. I Saturday I just took a little trip down to Branson and kind of got
unwind
from it, right?
Sure.
And that was a madhouse. Shouldn't have done that. But, and then Sunday I went to a buddy's house and we literally sat by a pool and just relaxed. I mean, that was a long 5 days of being out here. And that's one thing you do too. Is I'm not used to that. Is you want to experience everything, right? You want to be here. You want to be in the moment. You want to be out here every minute you can to soak it all in. But man, that will really play a toll on you at the end of the week. It's like you need your rest too, right? So you're kind of helicoptered into something that you really don't know about. And I've learned from that too, is that you got to just kind of practice and then go home. Me, I was wanting to just be here, right? I just wanted to soak it all in. So
a little weird going back into the office Monday morning.
Yeah, it was different. The best part is our internet was down, so we couldn't really work. So I got like an hour to just kind of sit and drink coffee and talk to everyone.
There you go.
No, I had some coworkers come out too. I guess the office was a ghost town last week, but we talked about it a little bit, and you're just adjusting from like back to real life. I mean, I work 40 hours a week, and I was like in a fantasy land for 1 week, and then here I am again going back to reality. And it's wasn't really a big change, but I kind of didn't want it to end.
I think it's pretty cool that you're going to chase the dream. Like you said, you only live once, and you don't want to get down the road and look back and wish you'd have done something. So I'm glad you're going to go after it.
Yeah. I mean, in meeting my wife, she's in the profession too, and teaching, and if you ever want to see her in the summer, you got to go to a golf course. I mean, she's there sun up to sundown, and being with her allowed me to be there more at a golf course, right? And then working with some of the guys around here that I just take a lot of advice from them. They've done it before, they've been there, they've done it. So we always work together, just a handful of us, and compete against each other, because that's how you get better. You compete against the guys that you have to beat. You have to beat them to get there.
Well, I don't know. I'm probably a little biased, but I think anybody that kind of hears your story of how you came to play golf and whatnot, I don't know how people couldn't root for you, honestly. I mean, it's just like we're talking with these Korn Ferry Tour guys. So many of them, they're playing at these big Division I colleges. They play golf. They finish their last year, and then they almost automatically get this. They qualify for the Korn Ferry. I mean, there's this a whole little kind of narrative to it, and it's really cool to see how you've kind of just come into your own, I guess, in the sense of now I guess finding out, hey, I want to do this, man. I
mean, no junior career at all. Never played junior golf. I played traveling baseball and basketball, and I still to this day don't know how my parents afforded it. I mean, the way how much it cost. But never really played in any competitions. It was more just goofing off, I guess, right? Just something. If I had something in my hand sports wise all the time, football, basketball, soccer ball, it didn't matter. That's just how I grew up. And I think it was in high school. High school was kind of where I stopped playing baseball. I did make the JV team as a freshman, but I think it's just burnt out from the years of traveling and playing all the time and this and that and on the ball field all the time. So I just didn't want to do it no more. So they asked me to play golf. Have you ever played? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, a little bit, right? And I'm competitive. I mean, I hate to lose. I mean, I hate failing. And it drove me, because I wasn't the best on the team. There's no doubt in my mind I was not the best. But I tried to prove myself, and I worked at it. And I worked at it, even though I didn't really care too much about it. I still worked at So it led me to, doing all that stuff in high school. And then, gosh, I bet I didn't play for 15 years. If I did, it was like just some scrambles my buddies wanted me to play in. So 2010 is when I started, like, I'm getting older now. The basketball, I can't run up and down the floor anymore. I can't jump anymore. I'm getting older. So riding a golf cart and hit a ball that doesn't move. Easy game, right? So that's where I started getting back into it. And then moving to Atlanta really helped. That's where guys that are on the Korn Ferry now were living, and they were on mini tours then. Hooked up with them, and here I am. That's where it took off.
So did you take lessons when you started?
Never had a lesson
Wow.
in my life. I
That's
say that my wife will be there.
yeah.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
She's the closest thing to a lesson.
I
you've
say
had.
I started playing when I was 25 because I hated. I was like, why would anybody want to do this?
Yeah.
And I started at 25, self-taught with a baseball grip.
Same here.
I mean, it was the worst. And
Same.
so here I am, 25 years later, and that's why I'm terrible.
Yeah,
But
same
I have
here.
corrected the grip, but
Yeah, I still use baseball grip myself.
well,
I'm just like you. Baseball, just grab it and hit it, right? There's no. I got my own swing. I got my own game. I got my own everything. Not saying I never would, but I think it's a little late at this point.
Yeah.
I've kind of taught myself, and you watch videos of how guys do things, and like I said earlier, I work with other guys, and I watch what they do, and I've always had that. I can see you do it, and I can do it right.
Yeah.
Same thing. Does that make sense? I can
100%.
visualize things. I'm a very big visualizing.
I was down at had a trip down to Sawgrass, and part of the package that we won was a 30-minute lesson in their practice facility or whatever, and it was the first time I'd ever they videoed my swing.
Yeah.
And I was terrible, but he showed me. He goes, "This is why you're doing that," and seeing it on the screen, and now I can feel what I'm seeing. It was
absolutely.
unbelievable
Yeah.
just being able to see it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's how I learned to, just like you, the same thing. So, but yeah, no lessons. Having like I said, my wife Megan, to run things off of, bounce off of.
Well, I can tell you every time that I've seen you for the last 6 months, it's been either playing in one of our scrambles or on the putting green or chipping. I've seen you practicing every time I see you. You're doing something. So,
like I said, it's our life, right?
Yeah.
With her in that profession, she's working till dark, and if I want to see her, I gotta go out.
Go
there
hang
see
out at
her.
the golf course,
I gotta
yeah.
go do it. So
It's not a bad excuse. Most of us have the opposite.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
have
we
to
try to get
ever-
away from our wife.
of course,
really
when,
don't
when
have
she comes home and not the last thing she wants to talk about is golf.
oh
So-
man, that was a big when we first got married. That was a struggle because. Me, I'd work all day, and the whole day I'm really got golf in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Just working it never is a hard mix, but I'd want to get home and let's go to the driving range. Let's go play nines. And it was a no.
She's like,
And it
"No
took
way."
me a while to figure out why she kept saying no. You love the game just as much as
Yeah.
I do, but it's like, does she want to go? She didn't ask me to go back to my work.
Yeah.
I would be the same. Why do you want to go there?
Yeah.
So I get it now. It was a struggle for the first 6 months, but it's good to have her though.
That's awesome.
Here's a question I've been wanting to ask you, and I did some digging on this. You've hit a couple hole-in-ones
Yeah.
before. You've had an albatross, actually. You holed out with a driver on a par 4.
Par
Tell me,
4, yeah.
tell me about it.
Oh gosh, what year was that? Don't remember the year, but it's number 4 at River Cut. I think it was a little over 300 yards, 313, 315, something like that. And I was playing it with my dad and a couple of his buddies in the scramble out there for something, I don't know what. And that's the whole deal. Just put one out there for me. I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And they did their job, and I hit it. Get my eyesight so bad I can't see him come down. But it was close. It was there. It was at the pin. And
Is that the one that runs along James River?
yeah,
Yep.
it kind of goes a little left.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But,
I know what you're talking about.
I knew it was up there somewhere. I walked that green up and down those hills. And I don't know. And they're all out in the fairway. Just go up there and see if you can find
Wait
it.
and see if you can find
And
it.
search party's over in a minute for me. If I don't see it, I don't see it. And I think it's my dad said, check the hole. Like the whole.
And we've all been there.
Check
We've
course.
all been there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Joking.
sure. And I did. I listened to him, and I walked up to that hole, and I kind of leaned over, and I saw it, and I jumped back, and I was like, "There's no way." Never got to see it go in.
Yeah.
Actually, all my hole ones, I've only seen like 2 go in, 2 or 3. I don't know if that's because of poor eyesight or just because I can't see.
I haven't seen any of mine
goodies.
go in either because none of them ever have.
None. Yeah, so I mean, I don't. And I got to witness one last week. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
their
Byron,
playing
yeah,
partner. That's
Byron,
right.
yeah.
that one I did see go in. I actually yelled that to go in.
Wow.
I was rooting for him on that one, but he was kind of the same way. I said, "How many is that for you?" He goes, "I don't know, like 4 maybe. I don't know." Like nonchalant, like whatever. I said, "First one in competition." He goes, "I think so." I mean,
He was trying to play it cool. Yeah, no, he was.
But I got to sign the card, so that was a good thing.
That's
My name's
cool.
on that card. He's probably going to frame
Yeah,
somewhere. So
yeah, that's
good
cool.
memory. But
What was that on? 15?
13.
13.
There
It was
First
3.
day.
Actually, 3 hit that day.
Yeah,
in
I know.
competition.
We were in there in
Yeah.
the scoring table, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he said, "Yeah, that's like the 4th one today."
Wow.
Yeah, the day one pin locations. You got to do better than that.
The one that impressed me was number 4. I mean, somebody hit one on number 4 with that back left
Oh,
pin.
wow.
Yeah, that one. I mean, the other ones were 6 and
Yeah.
13. Those were front pins with a little slow behind. I mean,
Mhm.
granted, I didn't
Yeah.
do it, but I mean, they were accessible on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Well, we were Sunday was a wild round with just things going everywhere and people trying to make moves and whatnot. And the eventual winner birdied 15 back there.
Well, at the time, Chandler Phillips and Pearson Cootie were neck and neck.
yeah.
And Cootie had a 1-stroke lead on number 11, and Phillips was greenside off the green in 2 and chipped in for eagle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so
that's
he, for a moment, had a 1-stroke lead,
Yeah.
and then Pearson
Yeah.
Cootie tied him with a birdie, but then he nearly holed out
He
on
almost-
15,
Yeah.
15.
which was the
Yeah.
shot of the tournament because
Awesome.
that
He
gave him
still-
the lead.
Yeah, yeah, but it was seeing some of those guys just be able to plan it and, just throwing darts, getting sticky.
How hard is it to just be in the zone for like 4 days in a row, though? I mean, that's what
tough.
it's.
I mean, yeah. I mean, do it one day or do 9 holes is doable. But yeah, to do it 4 days in a row. I mean, they do it here every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, you got to shoot
I mean,
low.
yeah, in the zone is a good word for it. I mean, it's very good playing.
Yeah. It's interesting. I thought, you were talking about you not feeling, like too overwhelmed by it or anything. I honestly felt like I saw that. You seemed like super kind of unwavered during your round. Like you kind of looked like I just saw you kind of move around the green and I was like, man, he just kind of looks like he's like another guy.
It looked like every time I've seen you at any golf tournament, you didn't change at
The
all.
mindset was just it's another round of golf.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a different atmosphere, but it's 18 holes and it's golf, and that goes back. I mean, I remember my first tournament in 19, I believe, in Iowa, and yeah, nerves, yeah, they were there. That first tee box was very nervous, but it got better after every time I did it,
Yeah.
right? So the more you play, the more you get in that environment, that situation, it gets better. I mean, just like anything else, right? So I played enough of them. I've been in those situations before. Not as many people or crowd, but even playing with my buddies. You're down $100 in the last tee shot, right? So I mean, I've been there in pressure situations, and that's why I guess I didn't feel anything.
What about Highland Springs? There was a lot of talk from the golfers, the tour officials, about how great the course was. That this was the best that it had ever been for this particular event. You've played Highland Springs a whole bunch in the past. What was the difference? Could you tell a difference in the course itself?
Not really. I mean, it's always in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Greens were all good. Fairways were, in my opinion, perfect. I mean, they had a little run out to them. They weren't very soft, but they still had this was being a little cushion, right? So, no, I've seen it. I mean, a lot of times, and it's always in good shape.
Yeah.
They just do a fantastic job. I mean, John's doing a heck of a job out there.
Good deal. Good deal. Love to hear it. We love to watch you. We appreciate you being on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We've
Absolutely.
kind of come to the end of our time, but we'd love to have you on again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely, anytime.
Nate, we appreciate you being in the tournament this week. Obviously, it was hoping to see you 4 days, but
Sure.
you put on a great show, and certainly appreciate
Yeah,
everything that
thanks
you did
all
for the
you guys have
tournament.
done
So
and leading up to the tournament with Noah and Carrie and your whole staff. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing what you guys do.
And you heard it here first too. Going to try and qualify next in 2024 for the Canadian.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll work hard this fall and early spring, and hopefully we'll have to talk about it.
Absolutely.
year.
That'd be awesome.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, hey, if you like what we do here, be sure to give us a like, give us a follow, leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We're coming out with new episodes every Wednesday. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time on Where the Game Lives On.